Macro tracking is too rigid is one of the biggest things I hear on social media. Stop tracking your macros. It's unsustainable, this, that, and the other. I tracked macros for probably 6, 7, 8 years. I lost count, to be completely honest with you. But I actually no longer track macros. Maybe like once a month, I track them for a day just to check in on where I'm at. But tracking macros is what allowed me to have the freedom for the rest of my life to understand what I'm putting in my body. It's what allows me to have the freedom to eat foods I enjoy instead of just always having to eat clean. Yes, in a perfect world, we're all just going to be out here eating food that came from the ground or came from an animal and it's minimally processed, this, that, and the other. But food is also meant to be enjoyed. You should be able to go out to dinner and not worry because you know what you're putting into your body. You know the composition of the food that you're eating. And that's what tracking macros allowed me to do. That's what tracking macros allows my clients to do. Tracking macros is the ultimate tool to food freedom. It's not rigid. It's literally the opposite of rigid. Meal plans are what is rigid. Not being allowed to eat a certain food is what is rigid. Now, you also don't want to do the opposite, which is just have complete, like IIFYM, if it fits your macros, old school thinking of if it fits your macros, you can eat it. You still want to eat, at worst, 70% clean foods, 70% clean foods, 30% dirty or processed foods. Year round, you should be at about 80-20. When you're trying to lean out, you should go to 90-10. At the end, you should maybe even be 95. But the key is to use the macros as the flexibility. You know your set number, especially if you have performance goals. You know what you need to be hitting at a minimum. You need to be hitting 300 grams of carbohydrates. So if you're eating 220 grams of carbohydrates and you don't have the energy that you expected to out on that run, well, now you know it's because you didn't have the carbohydrates. You're trying to put on muscle and you're supposed to eat 150 grams of protein, but for the past 2 weeks, you've only eaten 110 grams of protein and your recovery has been crap and you're not seeing any muscle growth. Well, you know it's because you're eating 110 grams of protein instead of 150 grams of protein. It is the key to unlock freedom forever. I find that if you track your macros for 3 to 6 months, you can then never track your macros again, but have an awareness of where you're at. Check in once in a while if you want to, but now you understand what a portion size is. You understand how to cut back on this food to have this food, how to add this in to have that, etc. Something I love to do is, if I'm going out to get like a dessert, say I'm going out for ice cream, I don't track my macros most of the time, but I know I'll cut back on my dinner a little bit. Is that the right choice? Absolutely not. But if I'm having, let's say, taco night, like a Mexican night, and I'm having rice, if I normally have 8 ounces of rice, I'll instead have like 5 ounces of rice. If I normally would have chips, I won't have the chips with it because I know I'm going out to get that ice cream after. And that awareness is not just created out of thin air. That was created from when I tracked macros. Because you'd put your ice cream in first, you want to have your ice cream. But then you need to fill in your dinner. So that's where tracking macros is literally the opposite of rigid. As long as, one, you don't become obsessed with the numbers. The numbers are just that, it's just a number. It's an awareness around what you're eating. And 2, you don't go hog wild and only eat those dirty foods. You still are putting the base of your nutrition around whole foods, but then you're using the flexibility that tracking macros allows you to throw things in like a bowl of cereal, to throw things in like popcorn, to throw things in like a couple cookies. It is the cheat code to unlocking performance and happiness around your food. Drop any